X. Comes into this kind of case.
Cool.
We might be ordering these today.
And I use them when I work with adults to remind adults of what it's like to think like a kid. And it turns out adults have pretty cool imagination. It gets buried. We spend too much time burying our imagination. And then if you can give adults just even little things to play with your hands, you can make, I don't know, can make just kind of fun. I've made butterflies. Right now, not sure what I'm seeing quite yet.
Looks like a deer.
Oh,
it looks like a dog.
A dog?
Or a deer.
Or deer?
With one with a tiny antler and a short antler.
You guys got me now you got me thinking animal. I'm thinking giraffe, if I can make its head.
Yeah, I'm thinking a giraffe too.
There you go. Giraffe.
Giraffe.
Give them a little tail. Giraffes have little tails. So earlier this year, I got to see a giraffe in the wild. I was lucky enough to go to South Africa, and I saw a giraffe in the wild. And there's giraffes running across the street the way in Nebraska, deer sometimes run across the street. And in South Africa, there was giraffes in the street. It was amazing. They're called brain flakes.
Okay, I'm gonna take a look.
I bring them to workshops that I lead, and they're super, super fun. And it's I'm sure I got them at Amazon or something. We know that even as adults, we're learning stuff all the time, but so are our kids. And so the opportunities to uncover small learning projects that might be in our house or around our house are all over the place. And so what I wish and what I hope for, and I'm hoping that to both do stuff in my house but also help others, is identify projects in and around your home that engage curiosity, that engage creativity. It's and I think they're all over. So that could be everything from, like, as I was just playing with these with this toy for your own kids, of like try and make an animal you've never seen in real life. Like, so to do that would require you looking up some pictures of other animals, maybe learning about its habitat, learning other parts about its ecosystem, and then some of the abstraction of like having to connect it with what you actually have. And that could be something that for a 7 or 8 year old might be very limited around an animal you've never seen, lives in a place you've never been, and what its life expectancy, I don't know, some basic facts, and then some representation of it. And then by the end of the week, you could have a whole like zoo in your house, right, of all these representations of animals you've never seen. And it can be totally self-motivating. Then you might realize within your zoo, you don't have any, maybe your older kids could then look for patterns of what do these animals that your younger kids have in common. So could be for your family, the younger ones make these animals, but your older one is like, oh, we have a lot of mammals and no birds, right? Or we have a lot of animals. It could be the next level up. We have a lot of animals that have short gestation periods. I mean, how do short gestation periods interact with global virus? It depends on how higher you can go. Those kinds of questions. And then at the end of the week, you have this whole zoo, and you have people thinking like scientists. And then, you can go from. It's just these funny names. But the reason that I say that is that as an activity to do with your kids is look for a map, put a map out on the floor. It's really hard because we're so digital now, but you put a paper map out on the floor. There's tons of questions that could come out of that.